All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Queen V podcast. This has been a long time coming, and we're so excited. My name is VK,
And I'm Queen Bee.
and welcome to our very first episode of the podcast. Woo! um, I'm gonna be honest. This is the second take. I forgot to hit record. We got about 10 minutes in, and I looked down and didn't see the recording button.
This is the classic streamer life. We're just going to tell you that right up front. This is how it goes. This ain't no YouTube content. This is the straight up Twitch content that you've been looking for.
And that's facts. And that is just going to set the stage for how chaotic these podcasts are going to be. So if you're looking for a very much unhinged kind of look into our lives and look into the Twitch world and the YouTube world, this is the podcast for you. And we are so excited to finally get this project launched and on the internet. So with that being said, again, just welcome to the podcast. And I just want to kind of set the stage of what you guys are going to be seeing in this episode. So we're going to introduce ourselves a little bit. And we're going to talk about, some of us, like some of our personal lives, how, like, just personally, like, who we are, what we do in our free time, etc., like that. And then we're going to kind of shift into our content creation background, kind of talk about who inspired us, why we do what we do. And then finally, we're going to wrap it up with what you can expect from future podcast episodes. So with all of that being said, I'm going to turn that over to Queen Bee, and she is going to open it up.
The great introduction, the introduction we've all been waiting for. What's up, everyone? My name's Queen Bee, or Queen Bee 875 on Twitch. I am a streamer who's been streaming since January 2021. I mainly started in the realm of TFT, kind of have gotten a little bit into Valorant, but you can expect me to always be on Twitch, bringing the chaotic hype vibes, exclamation point, volume warning. So my gaming kind of streaming thing started back in March 2020 when the world shut down. I had just come back from a really, really big trip, and I was teaching online, and I was trying to look for a form of connection and a way to stay online with my friends. And I got really into TFT. TFT was through League. I was playing League at the time, not well, keep in mind. I've been playing League for many, many years, and there's a reason why I don't stream it. But I was playing, and I got really into TFT, and I got up to about gold-ish. And I was like, okay, I want to try to get better. And so that was the first time I ever logged into Twitch, was March 2020. And I got really invested, and I dug into Hafu's stream, Foozly streams, Toast stream, Choco Bars, Becca, like all the main TFT people who were streaming TFT at the time. And I just became immersed into this community, into this world that I had never really expected to. And I would be working away and have their streams open, and it just made me feel like I belonged in a moment where no one really knew what was happening in the world, and we didn't know if schools were going to open up. We didn't know if the world was going to open up again. And throughout the course of the next couple of months, I really got back into gaming in general, like in total, everything. I went back to my roots of Animal Crossing. I got really into the comfort games, and lo and behold, January 2021 hits. And as someone who's always wanted to work in content creation, but didn't think I could as a teacher, finally took the plunge. And my second day streaming, I got into an ARAM game with some of my best friends who I have to this day and who I've met up with many times. And I will never forget the moment where it clicked. I met the people, I met my people, and it started to feel like a community and something that I wanted to invest my time and effort into. And so the Queendom is all about welcoming, being a part of a community, but also just absolutely being chaotic and being unequivocally yourselves throughout it all. And so now, a year and a little bit later, I'd say a year and a half, almost 2 years later, I'm now into Valorant a lot, and I'm 5-stacking. I'm basically delving into games and just being my energetic self and giving people an opportunity to come to a space just to be once again, I said just to be themselves. And yeah, that's kind of my gaming journey. And a little bit about myself. I'm a huge rock climber. I'm really invested in loving that. I'm a teacher, like my real gig. I do content creation on the side. VK and I don't know about VK, but I consider myself like this like micro streamer, someone who's like not huge, but I still feel like I'm a part of something when I stream and I do stuff. And it's something that makes me want to go home from work and get excited again, be a part of my life again. Because like I said, the pandemic, we didn't know what was going to happen next. I didn't know where I wanted to be. Everyone was questioning themselves. And this is something that I got excited about. It's not just a hobby for me anymore, and it's becoming a lifestyle. And that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah.
VK, what about you? Tell me about you.
Well, actually, before we get into that, I actually have a few questions for you. So you
Oh my
talked
God.
about the ARAM. So okay, I almost said
Yeah.
chat. Oh my God. So everyone listening, I apologize again. Two Twitch streamers trying this whole podcast thing out. You said ARAM. Is that a League
Yeah.
of Legends thing? Is that what
It's
is
a league
that?
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so like so a little bit about my gaming history. When I was younger, I was in the RuneScape vibe, the Maple
Okay.
Story.
Yeah.
Like I was a RuneScape person.
Mhm.
And then I got really into Halo 3, and Halo 3 was my identity for a while, to the point where I wouldn't even play Call of Duty
Oh,
because like you know about the difference
Oh, I
between
know.
Halo and Call
Oh,
of Duty.
I know.
Right? Right, it was a big deal, and also a lot of like my gaming isms that I have now and things that I talk about when it comes to women in esports and women in the gaming industry stem from my days when I was a girl on Xbox 360,
Oh, absolutely.
just trying to play my game, and a lot of things that would happen. So that's how it started. But then pretty much, I want to say 2014, 2015, my family and I over Christmas break, we did something called Sybil League, which is just
Nice.
so cringe. But no, we were trying to get together and like get to know each other again, because I'd moved off to uni and my sister had just started high school. So there's a 5-year age gap between us. And my brother was also at uni. He was at a pretty big university out where I am. And we just didn't really see each other. So over Christmas break, we decided to start League of Legends together. And they had both played. So they introduced me. And then when I went back to college in January, some of the guys in the dorm across the way, who's one of my main mods, Ike, like we just started gaming like every day League of Legends.
Yeah.
And so basically from that point on, anything that Riot Games has released, I have played.
Okay.
Like if Riot Games has their stamp of
you're a
approval on
ride or
it,
die for
I am
Riot.
there. Oh, ride or die.
Yeah.
Ride or die. And like I've tried other games, but the games that I know and get obsessed with are just happen to be the Riot Games establishment.
Right. That's fair.
Right?
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
I mean,
So yeah.
that shows their success as a company, because we look at Riot and let's be real, we shit talk Riot all the time, right?
Oh, 100%.
But on the flip side, you look at companies like Blizzard, who are shambolic. Like, that can be a whole podcast in itself. But like
we could have a whole moment to talk about that dumpster fire that's happening right over there. Exactly.
When we get into a little bit about me, like I'll even like talk about my hate for Blizzard actually. But so yeah, you get to get a little insight. But okay, no, that's awesome that you kind of met like your core friends like online, like through League of Legends. That's really awesome to hear.
And to think like the things we're doing now, like I'm going to go visit them in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to a K-pop concert with one of them. Like they're a part of my lifestyle and who I am now. I do D&D with them.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Still
they've
waiting
just
for the
become a
invite
part
to the
of who I am.
campaign, just saying.
DM me afterwards. But a lot of my life and everything that I do completely changed because of the way that I started streaming. Like all my weekends look completely different now than they used to before.
Oh, absolutely.
When I come home, especially, like I have such a difficulty connecting with people and reaching out to people. And I find that Discord people, because we're already online, it's just a part of the community to reach out to people. I feel so included because of that. Whereas in my daily life, I don't necessarily have that same skill that I used to have pre-pandemic, just because I got so used to the Discord community.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just my lifestyle now, is just being online as much as possible and being a part of that.
No, that's awesome to hear, and thank you for sharing. Like even I learned a little bit in that little segment, so I really appreciate you sharing.
And actually, before I invite you to introduce yourself, we should talk a little bit about how we met.
We should. Oh my God, that's
Because
even
I feel
the
like
first thing we talked about. That's crazy.
It's crazy. So on my end, VK, you can kind of step in a little bit.
Yeah.
But like on my end, I was queued up in a game of Valorant. So VK and I met in Valorant. We were we were in a Valorant
against each other?
We were against each other. We weren't even on the same team. Just take that in.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of confused by that, because like I thought, were we against each other and then we queued and got each other the next game? Is that what happened?
Exactly.
Oh,
so we basically had 2 games back to back together.
The
banter between the teams wasn't toxic. It was good.
Right.
Because then and then I believe you can step in next, but I believe you joined our party at that point.
I think so, because you guys invited us.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I remember I was with Chris.
You were with Chris, yes, and I was with Kira.
Right, yeah. So it was like and that was back, so if you remember this time, that was back when 4 stacks were allowed.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so we 4 stacked. which
I'm gonna cry.
don't ever 4-stack. I mean, I know you can't, but don't ever 4-stack. It is the worst thing ever.
I'm having nightmares thinking about the way that
horrible.
4-stack used to work.
It
was
was
horrible. And thank God they've gotten rid of it.
Yeah.
And that's a very unpopular opinion, I know, amongst the Valorant community is
Right.
4-stacking. But we are proof. We are proof that you should not 4-stack.
See, it's proof that like 4-stacking is horrible, but like on the flip side, it gives you that unrestriction to play with who you want to play with. Like I think that it's like a give and take. Like if you're in that competitive mindset, you might have to give that like little bit of, okay, if I want to play with my friends, I need a 5-stack.
Exactly.
So I kind of see why Riot did that, but yeah, no. So we met. We did meet online. We met on Valorant. Yeah. And then just from there, we kind of grew together. Like as all 4 of us got invited to the Queendom. That's where honestly we had to shout out Aj during this.
Aj,
because I think if it wasn't
my
for,
duo.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for Aj, I think I don't want to say would lose touch, but I think it just would have been more difficult because
it would have been because partially. Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because a big part of us 4-stacking is when we all met up. You were a part of the period of time in my life where I had met. It had been a couple months since I had met Aj and Boyko and Kira and Jay. We used to do stacks together.
Yeah.
So like Aj and I met because one day I didn't have anybody to play Valorant with, because my sister was busy, and she's the reason I got into Valorant in the first place was to get to be able to play games with her. And so I joined a game and I saw that Aj and I were both Iron, and I was like, oh my god,
Iron.
Nah, July.
That's
July
crazy.
2021. So July 2021, we were both Iron and we played a game together. And I was like, "Oh my god, you're cracked! Hello!"
Yeah.
And everyone in the call was like, "Wow, this girl's so positive." And I'm not just like tooting my own horn. Aj has told me this like after the fact, but like Aj and I just connected instantly.
Oh, absolutely.
And after that moment, he was my duo partner. We got each other to bronze, and then we met Kira and Boyko also in Valorant, which is crazy because Kira and Boyko live in Canada, very close to where I live.
Right.
So, like, the fact that I met them through Valorant kills me still.
It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was an era of time where we would be all together, and when we met you, we just brought you into that. And Aj was always the person who was initiating the conversation, initiating, hey, I want to play this game. I want to get to silver. I want to get to gold. Like, let's do this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you came along, and you were good at the game.
All right.
So you were. It wasn't.
I'm not that good.
I was Iron, bro. I was Iron.
So wait,
okay?
Did I meet you on a Smurf?
You did.
Oh,
you were.
So that's
silver.
crazy because that was probably around the time when I first got a Smurf. So
really,
yes, because I had one Smurf, and Timmy used it. Shout out to Bear Tim. Timmy used it and got it to freaking. I think at the time he was platinum. Got it to platinum. And I was like silver at that point. And I'm like, bro, like that's my alt account. Like I need that to play with like my Iron friends. Like my boy Ben, I used to play with. He doesn't play the game anymore, but he was Iron. So and I was, I think, silver 1 at the time. And I was like, I need that, that alt. So I just never got a Smurf. I just was like, okay, if they want to play down, they either have to 5-stack or just I'm solo queuing like at that point.
Yeah.
So I think that's when I got the Smurf was when Chris started playing was because he again was bronze, and then at this point now it was gold again, and I was like, obviously I can't play down to that, so I had to get a Smurf. So yeah, you actually might have been one of the first people I played with on that Smurf. So that's actually insane,
crazy.
I'm not on my Smurf often. So like that is wild. That is wild. So yeah, again, I had to give a big shout out to Aj because we were having like private calls, and he was like, yo, like I remember this. We only played like once or twice, and he was like, yo, I remember this VK guy was like super chill, and he invited me into a private call with you guys, and like ever since then, like I've been chill. Like that's when I met Aki. Like I consider Aki to be one of the close, like you, Aki, Kira, Aj. Those are like the closest 4 I say I would have in that space. But also like I've been getting really close with like Amy recently. I've been getting really close with Jay, Aram, of course. Jay. Yeah. So
Jules,
Jules, oh my god, Jules, I'm so sorry. I love you. Come on. We're on the same team in Boyka's tournament, which again we'll talk about. But
We'll talk about.
yeah, like shout out to you guys for real, like for like bringing Chris and I in, because like my friends that I were playing with, we were kind of on different schedules, and they were more about like the grind, whereas like at the time I could only do like 2-3 games, where like you guys were kind of in that same similar boat. Play 2-3 games, take a little break, come back in an hour, play 2-3 games, like stuff like that. So yeah, again, huge shout out to you guys. So yeah, Queenie, thank you so much for sharing. We'll segue back into a little bit more of some of your like content background very shortly. But I'm gonna go ahead and introduce myself now.
Please do.
So everyone, hi again. My name is VK. I'm 24. I'm a streamer from Pennsylvania or the United States. Quickly, I don't even think we mentioned this. We're not in the same country. Queenie is in Canada.
We're not.
You know, shout out our Canadian people. We love Canada.
Canada.
They are so many steps ahead of the United States.
We're not gonna get it.
I'm gonna get so much hate for that. But honestly, like I'm just gonna wear my heart. I'm gonna wear my heart on my sleeve on that one. But no,
we did say this was unhinged. We did say.
Yes, we did say this was going to be very unhinged. But no. But yeah. So 24. I have a degree in criminology. I'm currently enrolled in my master's degree in criminology, and I currently work as a social worker at my county prison. You know, trying to change lives. But when I'm not changing lives at work, I'm also trying to change lives with my content. I have been, I don't even think Queenie knows this, but I have been a Twitch streamer for about 7 years now. I started on a...
Excuse me? Sorry, I'll wait. You waited so patiently through mine, and I already reacted.
It's okay.
Oh wait.
The unhinged. No, I love it. It's okay. Also, again, almost called you chat. My voice tends to go in and out, so like if it's crackly, I apologize. That's why I'm like chugging water. But yeah, so no, Queenie, I have been Twitch streamer for 7 years. So I've been, you know, I started very humbly with the okay, this is gonna sound horrible. I still use the current capture card I used back then, so the original Elgato. I still use that, and I used to stream that directly into a MacBook. No face cam, streamed it into a MacBook, use the MacBook processor to put it through Twitch, like use the Elgato, I think it was called, like Elgato game capture software, whatever. Stream that directly to Twitch. My main content was Call of Duty. I was huge in the Call of Duty scene. I will never forget getting my Xbox 360, playing Modern Warfare 2, grinding Modern Warfare 2. And then I fell in love with a little thing called trickshotting. I was a huge FaZe fanboy. Around the time, I believe, FaZe Ilcam's 37 came out, is when they used Logic's song As I Am. And that is how I fell in love with my favorite rapper to date, Logic. I have a Logic tattoo on my arm. I am a huge Logic fan, thanks to FaZe. And honestly, I owe a huge part of my life to that era. It was a very dark time in my life, and trickshotting and Logic and FaZe really got me through that. But so I went through a whole bunch of identity changes because of Call of Duty. VK was not my initial name. It was, oh my god, I started with Mellow. That was my original, was Mellow. And then I went to Obey, but it wasn't like O-B-E-Y, it was O-H-B-A-Y. So it was like Obey. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like phonetically spelled out. Yeah, so I don't know what is up with me and phonetically sounding things out, but that was like always been my thing. And then after that, I was like, I think I had like Earth and Space Science in like 11th grade or whatever. And I decided to do Mars. But I wanted to be edgy and did MXRZ. Because Xbox, you know, like, yeah, edgy shit. And then I was like, I loved it. But so many people in lobbies called me Mixers. And I hated it. Like, no, it's Mars. Like, it's Mars. It's not Mixers. And so I was like, well, okay, my second favorite planet is Venus. So it was Venus the planet, but it was all the E's had X's. So it was VX, NUS, THX, PLANXT. Because edgy, right?
Because you're edgy.
Right, exactly. Because, you know, I think I came up with that when I was 17. So, like, 17-year-old Mark,
Classy.
And then I joined trickshotting teams. I wanted to join FaZe. That was like my #1 goal, was to join FaZe. The most I've gotten up to was I joined a team that was about 50K subs on YouTube. It was I think it was Just Sniping back in the day. And they opened a trickshotting division with throwing knives in Call of Duty. And that was my thing. I was like a throwing knife trick shotter. I was trying to get into XJMX at that time, which was the biggest trick. If you guys are Call of Duty nerds, and I'm saying some of these names that you're probably like shitting yourselves right now because you probably forgot these existed. But XJMX, if you know FaZe Blaziken, that's where he came from, was XJMX. So I was trying to get into that. I actually studied abroad in Germany, and the day I left for Germany was the day my XJMX recruitment challenge went out. Was the day like I submitted like all my clips and shit. Didn't make it, but I did make it into Just because of that. And I realized that Just Venus the Planet was too long for Xbox 360 standards. So I shortened it and I went with Just VK. VK being Venus, or V being Venus, K being knives, because I trick-shotted with throwing knives. And then phonetically spelled it out VEEKAY. So that was the birth of it back in 2015. I've had it ever since. I've had it since 7 years. I decided to close my old YouTube and old Twitch channel back then, start on the new one. This is the one I've been on for 7 years now. And unfortunately, there has been a trick shotter named VK who got bigger than me. And now everyone calls me VK fanboys, but he started trick shotting in 2018 and I was trick shotting in 2015. So I am the OG VK. No one else can tell me otherwise. That is the one thing I will stand my ground to this day. And yeah, so I am VK. He is not VK. I actually think he changed it to, I'm not gonna lie, shout out him. I think he actually changed it to VKs because of me, because I like DM'd him about it.
Imagine. Imagine.
So that's kind of like my background. That's where my background in gaming. And then this is where my spur of Blizzard comes into play. Because Blizzard took over Call of Duty and ruined it. Absolutely ruined it. Hot take alert. I don't like these new graphics. I don't like these new movement. I recently got back into Warzone. So anyway, that's where I made my big name. So come through college. Actually, I skipped over a huge part. You did. After Call of Duty, I went to CS:GO. I played professionally for a CS:GO team for 3 months, and then I got cut. And then I decided to absolutely get fucking dog shit at the game because I realized I can't just use an op and have to use other guns, and decided to make some questionable decisions. And let's just say I no longer play CS:GO. But that was my college grind. And then throughout that, I built my first PC. Wasn't quite up to par, but it was like a beginner PC, if that makes sense. And then I graduated in peak pandemic 2020. Did not get a graduation. Never got to walk the stage to get my degree. Very traumatizing. Graduated, got some money as like, you know, congratulations. Saved up a lot of hard work because I decided I'm a person where if I don't do anything, I get bored very easily. And I found a job in the middle of the pandemic. Risked my life going to work every day. Because this is before like immunizations and everything like that. Saved up my money and then built this PC that's next to me. It's a freaking unit, $2,500. Like spent a lot of money on it. And that's when I decided to revive my streaming career, but not limiting myself to a certain game. So that's when Valorant came out. I was able to get a beta key, played it in beta. Then I believe, 2020 peak Warzone. That's when Call of Duty Warzone came out, and that was everyone was playing it, man. Like that was like the game. And then had a lot of fun with that. Had a lot of fun streaming on that. Was playing it on PC. And then, you know, Valorant fully came out. Grinded about a year straight. Peaked Gold 3. And this was before like Ascendant and everything. So like Gold 3 was like pretty impressive back in the day. And then that's when everybody started getting into it. I ended up quitting. I think it was right when Neon released. is when I quit.
Really?
Yeah. So 2021, I did not play Valorant. It was mainly Call of Duty, and it was mainly I played Apex for a while.
Okay.
I don't like Apex. I don't suggest going to Apex. Oh, and FIFA. Oh my God, I forgot.
You
About
can't
FIFA.
forget about FIFA. I've been
No.
waiting for the mention of the
FIFA.
soccer stuff.
I'm a huge soccer fan. FIFA was a big focus for my Twitch for a while, but then as I moved more professionally in the FIFA world, I decided that it was not good for my mental, and I actually stopped competing in FIFA. It was just not good. There was a brief stint where I played Smash Bros professionally. I ended up quitting that scene due to the whole 2021 scandal. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. Basically, like hundreds of Smash Bros players were exposed for like grooming, underage sexual assault, etc. like that. And what made me what made me quit is I actually played in a tournament against one of the most severe players, and I played against him, and after he beat me, he shook my hand. And I have never felt, to be honest, it's a little traumatizing. Like I have not felt the same about Smash Bros since then, to be honest. So I quit Smash Bros. I actually have not picked up Smash Bros in a very long time. I will play it on charity streams, as it is a good way to get viewers and to bring, awareness to our charities. But I do not compete in Smash Bros anymore. But moved on to that, and then that's when, when this computer was built, I started streaming all the time again. I started to get back into Valorant a little bit. If you can even believe me, Queenie, when I came back, I actually placed Bronze 3. I placed Bronze 3. Grinded.
You?
Yeah, Bronze 3. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But then that's when I put in the time, that's when I started going to the range, doing all like the warm up stuff like that. And then come 2022, now I'm sitting pretty, I'm nice and plat. It's a little toxic in plat, I'm not gonna lie. But with this new act that's coming out, Valorant's again a big staple in my life. I've competed in Valorant tournaments. And if you guys haven't been paying attention, you might notice a little recurring theme that I love video games so much that I now have to compete in them. I have to take it to that next level, because if not, I don't get the enjoyment out of it that I once did. And it's a blessing and a curse, because you love competing at big stages, right? But on the flip side, like you got like us the other day when we were playing Unrated, I found it so hard to stay immersed because that game technically didn't mean anything. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like
yeah, I get it.
I'm not saying like that's a bad thing towards you guys. I loved having fun with you guys, but like I just remember like just playing the game and being like, okay, like when's it gonna be over? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was fun with you guys, just I couldn't be like immersed in it. But again, that's just like a personal thing. It's not that I won't do it. But yeah, so and now I'm very excited. I've told myself that I did pre-purchase Modern Warfare 2, the new Modern Warfare 2 coming out, only because of nostalgia reasons and because of Warzone 2. I am going to grind the shit out of those two games, and if it is horrible, I am done with Call of Duty forever. I'm never like that. I'm standing my ground. I'm not going back.
Just to become an Overwatch player.
So I did download Overwatch. I don't know how I feel about it. I like it.
Yeah,
but on the flip side, I think it's a character diff game. I don't think it's a skill-based game, in my opinion. Like,
really?
I think, you need skill. Hot take, I'm going to get canceled. But I think, like, depending on the character you play, you may have an easier time than other people. And, like, you can argue that with Valorant, too. But I'm saying, like, your shots don't really matter in Overwatch, in my opinion. If I'm shooting the body with one character and I'm shooting the body with another character and it's not killing at the same time, I just don't think it's very fair. You know what I mean? So I'll go on Overwatch to have fun. Will I ever play Overwatch ranked? Probably. Will I enjoy it? Probably not. Not as much as I enjoy Valorant ranked. But yeah, when I'm not doing streaming and content in video games, I do coach. I coach soccer, and I just recently took a coaching diving job. So I am actually I'm a varsity diving coach for a high school now, which is actually insane to think about.
That's wild to think about.
Yeah. So
getting into that space.
Yeah, and I've always been big in like helping people and teaching people, so it's a good way to get my foot in the door with that. So yeah, it's a little bit about me. I just kind of rambled a little bit. I apologize.
No, I did the same thing. I think my biggest piece that I'm wondering about from this, just because I'm seeing a lot of like, you're basically going into a lot of different games. There's a lot of different variety here that I'm seeing. How on earth did you get into so many different, you keep saying professionally got into this, professionally got into that. Like, how did you go about getting into those things as someone who didn't have this huge, like, toast? Like XQC, Pokey, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a huge platform. And that's not a dig on you.
No, I totally understand. No. Yeah, 100%.
And I know you have skills. Like, that's the thing. I know you're a good player. So that's why I'm like, does the actual proficiency of how you play impact your view on the team, or does platform also play a factor?
So this is where the interpretation of the game comes in. So for Valorant, I would argue that you need to have a platform in order to be professional. Just simply because like we see the likes of Shroud. They're very good. They have a platform.
Yeah. Hold on, BK. We got to pause.
Yeah. All right. So we're back. Sorry, we had to do a little quick cut there. But no, so as I was saying, like we're seeing the likes of Shroud who have a huge platform get signed to Sentinels, right?
Yeah.
For Valorant. Whereas you see professional FIFA players, it's all about rankings. So, for example, I can't quite put my finger on it, but there was actually a a FIFA professional who like didn't stream, but still played at like the World Finals. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to stream it. Now, when you have that platform, you probably should start streaming because you're gonna get a crap ton of viewers. But I do know, depending on the game, like CS:GO is one of them. A lot of people get to the professional level, then start streaming. So they get into like on a team, on an org, and then they start streaming. We see.
You're talking about like Tarek?
Yes, actually, he is one of them. I was also thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so out of touch with the CS:GO world. Like, it's
been a while. It's been a while.
Like, the person who hit the insane op shot, no scope, double kill down, Inferno's hallway. I think it was that Cali. I think it might have been Cali. He wasn't a streamer until he signed for C9. I think it was.
Really?
Yeah. So when he signed for C9 and got that deal, that's when he started streaming. So again, a lot of Smash Bros. Pros, they just go through the tournament rankings, get ranked, go to tournaments. Like, I don't see a lot of the top, like, you'll see the top 16 stream, but like, you might have someone in the top 32 who doesn't stream. It could just be your Joe Schmo from Arizona. You know what I mean? And, they're just that good. So I really do think it depends on the game you're playing, especially if that game has a big following.
Yeah, that's
Valorant
true.
is massive. Like,
I will also say this, considering Valorant came out 2020, because it had the pandemic edge that we haven't been able to see before.
Right.
And I have a feeling that it got so big, not just because of what it was and because it's a Riot game, but because it was new. And when it hit the platform of everybody, the people who were playing it weren't necessarily big before.
Right. Yeah, that's
right?
a huge thing to point out. Like Kaide, for example.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
yeah.
No offense to Kaide at all. Unknown before Valorant. Tens. Unknown before Valorant. He was a CS:GO guy. I'm almost positive he was a CS:GO guy. Unknown before Valorant. Yeah. Like, now again, I say unknown before Valorant. I'm saying in like the general knowledge of people. Like, you can say someone who's in the gaming sphere, say Tens, and be like, oh, he's that Valorant guy, right? Whereas when he was playing CS:GO, you say, oh, I know Tens, and you'd be like, oh, who's that? Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to throw any disrespect on any big streamer name, obviously. But my big thing is, like, with Valorant, you need to have that good entertainment and skill factor, like, combined. Whereas, like, I think if you're not very entertaining with Valorant, you can't just make it off of skill. Like, no offense to Tim, I don't think he would be a good streamer. He's a fantastic player. He hit Immortal 1. Check out my new video plug. He hit Immortal, coached me, but like, yeah, he was entertaining in that video, but that's because he was just trying to be my friend at that point and not an influencer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think if he was in an influencer setting, he might find it a little bit more difficult to like hold a viewership. Whereas
there's also
like,
well,
whereas
like
you and
speaking
I,
about that, we also talk a little bit about this when it comes to the entertainment factor of when we post TikToks.
Exactly.
Right? There's also, because now that I'm thinking about it, and now that you've brought up that point, I think about the rise of TikTok and the rise of entertainment-based Valorant videos on TikTok. Like Josh Secchi, Jules,
and it came out at the same
Toki,
time.
Ardent Glitter. It all came out at the same time. These people who were not as large, like Toki, like I discovered her through, I believe it was a City-On raid or a Quarter Jade raid. And she was at 10K followers and now is blown up completely in the last couple of months. Ardent Glitter, a year ago, she started streaming a year ago.
Yeah.
She had her 1-year partner stream. She's massive.
Yeah,
so
and she's so entertaining. It's ridiculous. Like, her potato cam.
So good.
Her potato cam is insane. And she started a trend. Everyone's doing potato cams now. Like, I don't know if you realize that. So many people are doing potato cams now.
Yeah, but I don't think she started that, though. We'd have to find out who the original person, because I know that.
Yeah.
Because I know she's the person who stuck with it, but I remember there was like a month where Kaide was doing it, Choco Bars was doing it, like all these big people were doing it. And I wonder if it was a part of
like that movement.
I do want that movement, right? And there's trends and there's people and there's like the trend of eat-aters on Valorant, which is a whole new topic that we can get into.
We don't gotta talk about that. We don't gotta talk about that.
Well, no, there's like I'm saying like it's Valorant-based entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? Entertainment that is because of a video game. And I do think, especially as we get along with the podcast and we talk about all these topics, we talk about the lore of Valorant and the lore of some of our most popular games. I also think it's fair to say that our podcast is going to go into a deep dive also on YouTube versus Twitch.
Oh, 1,000%.
100%. And I know I'm kind of steering this and segueing this into a different area.
No, that's fine.
But I think when we're talking about streaming, because we're both currently Twitch streamers, we're neglecting to talk about how YouTube is also playing a big factor here and how YouTube's introduction to the scene has also completely changed the game for streamers and for micro influencers and for the small people as well.
Oh,
because yes, these bigger name streamers like Ray, obviously, and them and like Fuslie and Sykkuno and Lily Pichu and like those bigger name people moved over. But for us smaller creators who don't have that same type of platform, what type of offers does it give to us? Right? And how does that play a factor? Because YouTube, I feel like has always been big, but I feel like post-pandemic YouTube is more woke than pre-pandemic YouTube.
Yeah, and what to build off of that, like if YouTube just took the steps that Twitch did back in the day to introduce new features, YouTube would blow Twitch out the water. I'm gonna be so honest with that. So honest with you 100%. On that. Like YouTube's benefit and Twitch is doing it. And Twitch is helping them bolster themselves because Twitch is just shooting themselves in the foot every chance we get. You know, you can just look at any mogul mail video about Twitch. Twitch is absolutely gone to shit. And as someone who's been on the platform for a long time, I've seen it gone to shit. But I've also seen it rebound better than YouTube can rebound. So, like, even though this is a very bad time for Twitch right now, and I think the Amazon, like, again, I was on the platform before Amazon took over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the Amazon deal obviously was not a good thing, in my opinion. But on the flip side, YouTube is not taking any feedback from any of the big creators, and they're not adding any of the things that Twitch have. If they just simply do that, YouTube's the superior platform. But until they do that, Twitch will always reign supreme. But
I also know that some of the bigger creators who have moved over, I mean, they're creating those extensions and those things to create it more like a Twitch experience.
Oh, absolutely. And good on them, but the point is they shouldn't need to. Like, they should just have that built into YouTube, in my opinion. Like the fact that you couldn't even like raid until like a month ago is ridiculous.
Although I don't know if you've heard, hosting is no longer a thing on Twitch.
Hosting is no longer a thing on Twitch. Again, Twitch is imploding, shooting themselves in the foot, in my opinion.
Right. And I know that raids are a big piece of Twitch, but hearing about hosting, like auto hosting used to be a big thing.
Yeah, I had an auto host list.
Yeah, I did too. And I also know bigger streamers did. Like even when Leslie was on Twitch, she had her Foos network. And when you would click on it, she would auto host if she didn't raid one of those people on her network, right? It was a big piece. And yeah, anyway, sorry, I could go into it.
You're good. And honestly, that can be a whole nother podcast. And I think honestly it kind of will be. Because I know you have struggled with this decision in the past, and I'm starting to understand the struggle, especially recently. But yeah, so let's kind of segue into, like, you know, what are, or I should say, who are our greatest inspirations for making content. I'm gonna let you start it off.
Oh man,
putting you on the spot. You're on the full screen.
You're on the full screen. I'm gonna cry. I also think that it varies depending on the type of life that I'm in, because it has been a year and a half. But my journey with streaming and content creation, obviously content creation, started like at the beginning of YouTube days. I really want to say.
Oh, absolutely. Like Smosh and all them, right?
Well, we're a part of the era. Like, I'm 28. So, like, I'm a part of the era where growing up, it was this brand new thing that everyone wanted to do. And it was really, really hard to do. Right. And it never seemed like something attainable, especially because I'm a teacher. And a part of my online persona needs to be in a positive public light.
Right.
Because I could lose my job.
Yeah,
just point
absolutely.
Blank. Right.
Yeah.
Any little thing that I can say could be critiqued, which is why I never got started. Even though growing up, I've been this eccentric, extroverted individual, I want to say since my camp days. Like, I obviously, camp is a huge part of my lifestyle, whether it be the camp I used to work at, the camp that I currently worked at. Like, it's a big part of my persona and who I am and what brought me out of my shell. And ever since those days, people would be like, oh, you'd be great as a YouTuber. Oh, you'd be great as a content creator. Oh, you'd do great. You're so entertaining here in this space. And that's always been at the back of my mind, and why I always thought I would be a great teacher, because I can make lessons engaging.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So I always brought that into my teaching, because teaching is my first love and my dream and what I've always wanted to do in my life. Whereas content creation has always been on the background because I never thought that it was capable for me. I never thought it was attainable for me. And then it's going to be really awkward if I look back on this podcast and I mention this person and they're no longer in my life. I might just cry myself to sleep about it. But okay, so January 2021, it was the beginning of the pandemic. It was the middle of the pandemic. It was the second shutdown in Canada where I am. And I got COVID for the first time.
Oh, okay.
And
so are you a double COVID recipient like I am?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
The first time was not bad until the last day. The second time, I was bedridden. It was bad.
Really? I was better the second time.
So bad. Like, the second time was way worse for me, but I also think it's just because of the variant that I had, and I have asthma.
Oh, okay, that's definitely fair.
Makes a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, that is different. Yeah.
But it was January 2021. I was talking about TFT and how much I loved it, and a lot of my friends don't play it. And I was devastated about that. And I was talking about teaching and how I'm going to be at home now and I'm going to fall into this rut again. And Jatsky, who's my partner as of right now.
Oh yeah, we should clear this up. Not to cut you off. We should clear this up. We are not dating.
No.
Queenie has a partner. I have a partner. We are both very happy. We are just very good friends. So before anybody in the comments start shipping us and saying Queen V ship, it's not like that. No. This is so platonic. It's not like this is my sister. Okay.
No, Canadian sister.
But anyway, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. So Jatsky, who is my partner as of right now, and was then. I've been with Jatsky since. Oh my God, May 2020.
Oh, no.
I have to think about that. We're a pandemic relationship, but the main thing was at that point in our relationship, he knew that this is something I wanted to do, and he was finally like, "Listen. You've been talking about this forever. You've always wanted to. Why haven't you?" And I told him my reasons, and he said, "That's bullshit." Like, he's like, "This is the time. Like, this is the time. You're going to be at home. Obviously, you're going to be working from home. But what's going to get you excited to wake up in the morning? What is going to get you excited to do what you want to do?"
Yeah, especially in lockdown and everything.
Exactly. And so that's when I started my Twitch channel. And I got everything set up. I did all my Canva stuff. I had no idea what I was doing. I did have way better camera than I do right now, but that camera is not it. It was a Canon Rebel TDI, but it only has a 1 hour battery charge life. So every hour, my camera would die. I'd have to change the batteries, and I'd have one charging and one up here. So my camera quality was fantastic that point, but it was an interesting setup.
Yeah.
But another big piece is I was a Mac gamer up
Same.
until
Oh my god. Same.
Mac gamer up until March 2020. That's when I got my PC for the first time. And that was because like I was going to be working from home. I needed something to work from home with that wasn't a MacBook Pro.
Especially
and
teaching.
Especially teaching. And I had just gotten a MacBook Air because my MacBook Pro had died and I didn't want to go through the effort of fixing that. I'd rather just have a laptop. Anyways, with teaching and everything, it just made more sense for me to have a real PC and I could have multiple things going on at the same time. And now I have a second monitor. Obviously, my setup is not as cool as Tati B, my sister. She's got like the ultimate supreme setup, but this is what I like and this is what I have to work with. But for streaming, my big thing was I just wanted to find people that I could game with again.
For sure.
That was my big piece. It wasn't about getting big. It was about being an outlet of creativity and finding
absolutely.
a space where I could find people.
Yeah.
Which is why for the first little bit, I would plug my stream. I wouldn't plug my stream. It was just, okay, like I've got my camp friends in chat. I've got like my uni friends in chat right now. And I've got my boyfriend in chat. And then I got so lucky that second day where I met Rui, Jello, and Ian because one of their friends was streaming. She plugged and I went to her stream. And then that's how I met everyone.
Yeah,
and that's how I got into it.
So dope.
Yeah. And then I entered the Stinky Streamers TSS, which is like a small network of small
nice.
small streamers. And it's not like a big network, but it's small streamers. And the big thing is it's community. Like we'd have game nights, we'd do streaming things, we'd have events. I did a TFT tournament with them, a league tournament with them. I ran a bunch of stuff with them too, with Ultimate Bravery on TFT. It was pre-Valorant era for me because I didn't get into Valorant until May of 2021 because at that point my sister had seen me stream and wanted to stream herself Valorant, which I would watch. And then that's how her TikToks became big and everything. Because she joined the TSS group, but then she knows how to make content that fits the algorithm.
She's incredible in hitting that algorithm. Like her TikTok is incredible.
Her TikToks are incredible. Tati B with 3 E's on TikTok. You gotta go check her out. Yeah, she's got some like choose my League of Legends character. Right? And she's 1999. She's a 99 baby.
So so I'm older actually. Okay.
Yeah. So that was a big piece. And that's also how, when I started streaming, it became a big deal for me and her. We really rekindled our relationship and our sisterhood at that point because we were connecting and vibing in a way that we hadn't been before in our adulthood as opposed to us just being children.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what streaming is for me. It wasn't about getting big. It wasn't about doing this. It was like, okay, right now I'm having fun. And that's always been that way for me, which is why I've done times in my streaming career where I've been go, 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 and times where I'm not, because for me, it's a hobby.
Right.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And for me, I want something that I can look back on.
Well, you took the whole summer off, didn't you?
I did. I was also working.
Well, right. But like you also use that as a reset period, right?
I did. Yeah. I was outdoors the whole time. And I used it as a reset period because I was also getting burnt out in the sense of
that's facts.
Not just like streamer burnout, but a lot of people thought when they came to my content that I was trying to make it big and be people on Twitch, to be myself, which is why now I don't really care about what I'm posting in the sense of like gameplay or making it big. I'm posting it because I think it's mine.
And you also have that content personality naturally. So when people come into the stream, they're like, "Oh, you're putting on a facade." It's almost like when you see people like Speed, like the YouTuber like Speed, like that exuberant energy. Like, okay, they're putting up a facade, right? Whereas you're just doing it naturally. Like that's who you are. Like so people think that you're trying to like make a big quick scam, which you're obviously not. You have a passion for the craft, and like I do. That.
And that's also why when I got close with everyone and I was in Discord calls, I was exactly who I was on Discord as I was when I was alive.
Yeah. No, 100%. And, but that's good to hear. And honestly, you have I like how you didn't make it specifically, like, I'm definitely going to take it a different route, but like, I definitely like how you didn't classify one, like, inspiration. Like, I love how you made it like you didn't make it like a person, you made it like an action, which I think is really cool. I'm more superficial. We don't go to.
But my big thing too is because of the streamers and people that I was watching. I think that also played a factor into who I became as a streamer as well. Because the people that I was watching it wasn't about their pro gameplay.
It was like who they are.
It was who they are.
Yeah.
Like,
isn't like supposedly like silver in Valorant or something like that?
She just hit silver.
Like, so she just hit silver. So like obviously it's not like some pro gamer strat. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Like,
but I connected to her as a person. She would share about her music life. Obviously, Edison and her didn't work out, but she would talk about her love life. Like, Ray often is this, like, not crazy, but she's this eccentric and energetic personality. Toast is cutthroat, man. That man would cut a bitch, but also kill someone to save his loved one. You know,
I can't talk about Valkyrae because I will get in a lot of trouble. I have a massive crush on Valkyrae. Okay.
Oh my god! Say less,
bro. Like, I'm not gonna go into detail, but me and my girlfriend have what do they call it? A hall pass list, right? And she is on my hall pass list. Like,
I need to come up with one with Jatsky.
Yeah. Like she can have Logic. I want Valkyrae. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's Like, there's a couple that we agree on. She's got good
taste in music if she's gonna pick Logic, low key. Okay, but yeah, tell me a little bit about your inspiration.
Yeah. So for my inspiration for streaming, you know, like I said, I touched a little bit about like the FaZe stuff. So that was like what really made me get into like YouTube. But I never really got into streaming until my best friend at the time. He's still cool. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to say like we've fallen out or anything. We just, you know, went separate paths. My friend Danny started streaming and he blew up a little bit. So he got me into it like at that time, like really blew it up. And then so I started doing it, and then again, in college, just kind of did my own thing. Didn't really have an inspiration. Was just kind of trying to do my own thing, stay on my own lane. And then in 2019, again, I always find people who are like extremely like not popular before they get popular. I discovered Ludwig Ahgren on YouTube in 2019. It was him doing a PO box opening with like 300 concurrent viewers, right? And
classic.
Yeah. And when I say I found him on YouTube, I mean like I found like his videos on YouTube and then checked him out on Twitch because this is when he was still on Twitch. Was like a 24-month resub in his chat. Like all this crazy stuff. I think there's actually an old music stream of his that I'm actually involved in. Like I got like he was like, VK, if you got the right song, like then you gotta drop the link or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah. But he was a big one with the streaming content wise, and then to make like just kind of like not over the top videos, but like just to kind of create my own path, because there was a time where I copied Ludwig's pattern verbatim, and you can't do that. Like that is how you will not be discovered, and if you are discovered, you will be viewed as like pardon my language, like as a dick rider. Like, you know what I mean? Like no one's going, like you're not original. So that's when, you know, the Sidemen started doing Sidemen Sundays, started doing huge productions. I have followed, this is going to be crazy, Mini Minter, who is one of the Sidemen. I've been following him since 2014, right? I have met him. I have talked to him. He is a huge, like, I watch every video. Every MM7 Games video, he uploads twice daily. Well, he used to. He uploads once daily on that channel. Every main video, every more Sidemen video, every Sidemen video. I watch it because of Mini Minter. He is like such... I love the Sidemen, but he's like obviously my favorite. So they were like, you have... Like that was like, okay, Mark, you need to do your own path. Because they did their own path and they blew up. They are like so clear right now. Like their net worth together is like 100 mil or something like that. Like,
oh my god,
like that's sick, right? So those are like my inspirations. Again, like I said, I'm a little bit more materialistic and like person wise. Also shout out Valkyrae. Just, you know, I just have to shout out Valkyrae. But yeah, so I think that kind of covers everything that we kind of had planned for today. So again, this is probably like the average time our podcast will run will probably be about an hour. If we're talking about something juicy, maybe an hour and a half.
Spicy.
I think the next podcast is going to be a little spicy, and I'm very excited. I think the next podcast is going to be really great.
I'm so excited.
If you guys did enjoy, make sure you subscribe to both of our YouTube channels, VKGC and Queen Bee. It's Queen Bee 875 on YouTube as well, right?
No, just Queen Bee.
Just Queen Bee on YouTube. Okay, just Queen Bee on YouTube. Okay, Queen Bee on YouTube. And then follow us on Twitch if you ever want to catch us live. We're live pretty often. Queen Bee 875 on Twitch and VKGC on Twitch. Currently, we are just uploading this to YouTube, but I am currently sorting out the Apple Music and the Spotify. So once that is released, go check it out on there. Go follow us on those platforms as well. And before I sign off, Queenie, you got anything you gotta say?
Stay strong, stay true to who you are.
Wow,
That's all I gotta say.
That is a magical ending. So once again, thank you all. It's gonna be a very fun ride. We plan on doing this. We're gonna try to get one out once a week, but if we can't do that, at least you're guaranteed 2 a month. That's what we're gonna
guaranteed.
But we're gonna try to do it once a week. But again, thank you guys so much for coming out and enjoying and listening with us. And we hope to see you again next week. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone.